newspapers. Today I am with Jody Cox. She is the ADA Project Administrator at Miami-Dade County. Jody, you've got one of those titles that could almost mean anything. Can you kind of unpack that for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. So my role is to support the ADA coordinator for Miami-Dade County and ensuring that all county programs and services are accessible to people with disabilities. One of the ways we do that is we handle requests for accommodations. If it's for another county department, we'll filter it over to the appropriate ADA liaison for that county department. Or we also provide support and assistance to those liaisons when maybe they're, not sure exactly what type of accommodation to provide, or how they can accommodate a person that may have some type of need.
Nice. As an autism parent and doing this podcast, I'm always learning new stuff. So does every county department have an ADA liaison?
Yes, every county department actually has 3 appointed liaisons. They have one person that will handle any requests for accommodations that are related to actual programs and services. And programs and services is really a very broad term. It is basically any type of service that county entity is providing. There is a liaison that will handle issues related to the built environment. And so we're looking at, the actual facilities, getting in and out of facilities, parking, things of that nature. And then there's a ADA liaison that basically handles accommodations internally for employees of that department.
Now, the ADA just celebrated 35 years since it was written into law. Has there been an ADA department at the county for 35 years?
It's been in existence, I definitely would say over 30 years. Under the federal mandate after the ADA was passed, it did require that Title II organizations, which basically is any state or local government entity that has more than 50 employees, they are to have an ADA coordinator who handles grievances, that assists with making the accommodation requests, and also ensuring that the department or the let's say the government entity's self-evaluation and transition plan are completed.
Nice. Now, you've been in your role for how many years?
I've been working in my role now for a little over 3 years.
And what drew you, what attracted you about that position?
I saw it as a way to better advocate for people with disabilities. I've been working with or for people with disabilities my entire life since graduating out of college. I worked as a recreation therapist. I worked in the Miami-Dade Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces department as a recreation therapist for 18 years. And so serving people with disabilities, this gave me an opportunity really to expand my horizon a little bit more and really work with every county department. We also work very closely with a lot of the municipalities and even some of what we would call quasi-county organizations, like some of the museums and other organizations that maybe receive some county funds. We work with them also very closely in assisting them or just providing guidance and information on how to accommodate people with disabilities or how to better serve people with disabilities.
Now, you said you work with most of the municipalities, but not all of them?
No, it's basically by invitation. One of the ways that we really try to support our community and Miami-Dade County in general is our office hosts, or I guess you could say we sort of steer what we call the ADA coordination professionals group. We have quarterly meetings where we invite all the county ADA liaisons, coordinators, as well as the municipality ADA coordinators to these meetings where we provide them with information. Again, we'll provide training. We provide, any legislative updates. We will provide information as it relates to the ADA, as well as sometimes connecting them with resources or new resources or technology that can assist them in making their department, their program, their service, their city more accessible to people with disabilities.
Now, speaking of these meetings, are they open to the public or is this closed door meetings?
It's for the most part, it is closed door. Sometimes information that is shared is can be a little sensitive, And, during these meetings, we provide opportunities for these ADA coordinators or liaisons to ask questions, especially when they encounter challenging situations. So it's more of a work group that we can, help problem solve and come up with solutions that, again, if the public were privy to that, they might not like what they hear. So yeah.
There's context, of
There's
course.
context, yes.
Now, are there any meetings that are open to the public if a parent like myself wants to educate themselves?
Well, we do have our office supports the Commission on Disability Issues, CODI, which is the county's um, advisory board on disabilities. These individuals are, the board members are actually appointed by each of the commissioners to represent their district. And this group, they basically did discuss issues as it relates to people with disabilities and county services. And these meetings are open to the public. The public are, they are welcome to come and attend the meetings. And, whenever there's a vacancy too, we do encourage other people with disabilities or disability advocates to submit their resume or their application to be a part of that advisory board, because this board can actually help make changes, positive changes that will affect people with disabilities in the county.
Now, you mentioned CODI. Is CODI a person or a program?
No, it's actually the Commission on Disability Issues.
Oh,
So it's the acronym for that board.
Nice. Now, I like to ask you about these partnerships with municipalities. Is there one that stands out as like, okay, this is what it should look like?
With a municipality?
Yeah, like these relationships you have, and you don't have to say by name if you don't want to, but is there like one that stands out? Like this is how it should look like.
I wouldn't say it shouldn't look a certain way. We've developed very strong working relationship with the city of Miami Beach,
Mhm.
as well as with the city of Miami. Again, I don't want to miss out on anybody that's really been participating and conversating with us. But again, we do have strong relationships with those two ADA coordinators. And again, we bounce ideas off of each other a lot. We share information. We are all trying to achieve the same goal and
I think so.
making our community more accessible, more inclusive, and more livable, for people that have disabilities. And so one of the best things that we can do is, again, collaborate, network, and share information, share best practices, share our success stories, as well as share our failures. And again, try to come together to problem solve when an issue arises.
Yeah, I gotta say that I'll hear complaints, but then I'll talk to people like yourself. I just had on the Vice Mayor, Rhonda Anderson of Coral Gables, and I gotta say that I see a lot of really good faith efforts. Like Rhonda, her sister is disabled, and if you mind me asking, is a good segue. I understand that you adopted 2 kids with disabilities. Is it okay to speak about that?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me about that, please.
Well, again, just my experience and background in working with people with disabilities, I guess prepared me better for it. And when my husband and I decided we were going to adopt because we didn't have children, looking at the kids in the foster care system, and as we began our search to find our children, one of the things I realized is that number one, older children, are much harder to get adopted. Okay,
Yes, yeah.
Everybody that wants to adopt a baby. So from that point, we made the decision we were going to be willing to adopt older children. Now, it's even more difficult to adopt a child or to get a child that has a disability adopted. A lot of people want, or they have this idea of what a perfect child is. And so, again, we made the decision that we would be willing to adopt, children that have a disability, because we know there's a much higher likelihood that they would remain in the foster care system, if, so for us, it really wasn't, for me especially, it was a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, I'm willing to do this. And so when we came across our girls and we submitted our home study, we got a response right away. And I think after the caseworkers reviewing, again, not just our family case study, but my background and having been a person that has worked with children that have disabilities and adults that have disabilities, it was, again, it just seemed like it was a perfect match. And it's just been a blessing to our family, and it's changed our lives. And I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything at all.
I really admire you because you chose to do this. My daughter, she was born with, or she became autistic with a regression. We didn't choose it. So my hat's off to you for choosing that choice. And I also want to give a hat tip because I know your daughter's employed, which is very hard for some autistic kids. Tell us a little bit about her employment.
So that took a little while. When she finished school, we enrolled her in an adult program and she was there. But again, we always had in mind that at some point we'd like for her to be employed. And so we did enroll her with vocational rehab. And then they assigned us, I guess it was one of the agencies that would provide like supportive employment and a coach, which helped her find a job. So they basically have a list of, companies or employers that would be willing to consider or hire a person that has a disability and work with a job coach.
Who has that list?
I guess some of the agencies that the supportive employment agencies that are out there, there's, really no company should deny a person that has a disability.
But some are friendlier
employment.
than others.
Yeah, exactly. There are some companies out there that are much more friendly and open to hiring people with disabilities. And so a lot of the agencies, the supportive employment companies, they're familiar with which companies and employers are. And so they start reaching out into that network, and they will assist the person in applying for the job, will assist them during the interview process, will assist the potential employer with giving them information. And then when my daughter was hired, she had a job coach that went with her to work for a couple of weeks, that basically worked alongside her and helped train her in whatever skills or job tasks that she would need to complete. And basically they would phase out as she was learning, her job tasks. And so she's now there. I mean, she's been working with the company that she's with now for over 3 years. She's been employed now and working part-time. Very happy. She loves her job. The feedback that I get from her supervisors is that she's an excellent worker. She comes into work. They don't have to tell her what she has to do. She just gets to work, unlike maybe some of the other young people that are there, that they have to remind them, hey, put your phone down, put your phone away. My daughter gets right to it. And so it's just a matter of finding the right job for the person, making sure they get trained and they understand what they have to do, and if they make errors, is going back and coaching them and showing them the right way to do it. But giving her that opportunity has been excellent. And again, she loves to make her money because she likes to spend her money too.
And speaking of money, for the parents that don't know this, these disabled, I call them our kids because they are kids. These disabled adults, they can work part-time and still keep their government benefits.
They can. They can. She can earn money. Again, she can't have more than $2,000 in her account. So one of the things that we did was we created an ABLE account for her. Very so nice. That we can, basically shift the money into that account, which that money now is protected and that will not affect her Social Security benefits. Mm-hmm. But she is able to earn, a certain amount. I don't know what that amount is right now off the top of my head, is a year without, her Social Security benefits being affected. And so again, it gives her a means to contribute to society, to pay taxes, mm-hmm. And to have, some of her to contribute. Yes. It's all about contribution. But then she has some of her own money that she can go and spend, at the stores that she likes to spend her money at and buy the things that she likes to buy, whether it's, nail polish, jewelry, whatever.
And I'm just curious. First, she was with VR, vocational rehabilitation, mm-hmm. which is a state program, yes? And now she is with the...
Well, she's basically working on her own. So she works with the company that she's at. She works for Bell's Outlet, and so she works there. Mm-hmm. VR is no longer following her at this point. They close her case. So the days that she doesn't go, to work, then she goes to an adult program at the WOW Center.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just curious, when your daughter turned 18, did you do guardianship or she?
We did. We did. As soon as she turned 18, again, I was kind of familiar with all the things that needed to be done when they needed to be done, because of the work that I do. So as soon as she turned 18, we started to file for guardianship. We found a family attorney and basically started that process. Things got a little bit delayed for us because during that time, I guess one of the judges retired and then her case was reassigned, and so it took a little bit longer than it normally should. But again, we took care of that. Make sure, because again, if we didn't file for guardianship, if something were to happen, we basically don't have any say. We, she would be the one to make
Medical emergencies.
medical emergencies,
Yes.
managing her money. I mean, she basically would be the one to make those decisions for herself. And so, again, because of her level, I don't want to say her competency, but well, her competency in making certain decisions for herself, I knew that we would need to file for that, as soon as she turned 18.
Okay. Now, going back to the ADA office, you guys work with all disabilities?
Yes. So our office, we serve anybody that has a disability. Okay, it doesn't have to be something that they were born with. It could be a disability that they have acquired over the years.
An accident, a stroke.
A stroke, even with age. A lot of folks that, I don't want to just call them the elderly, but a lot of folks, as they get older, it's harder to see, it's harder to hear, it's harder to walk. And a lot of times people that are older do not necessarily identify as having a disability.
Right.
And so a lot of times they won't ask for an accommodation because they don't really know what an accommodation is. And so we do try to let, again, the older generation or the aging generation know that, you can still access county programs and services. We can provide an accommodation, try to explain to them what that is so that they can do that. And again, it's whether it's making a facility more accessible to you, providing text information in a larger, bolder font so that you can read it, providing listening assistance devices, or, providing information in an alternative means that's more effective for you. Because your hearing is going, that we can provide those things.
And what is your biggest demographic that you're working with?
That'd be a really hard answer, because, again, we really do have a large disabled population in Miami-Dade County. The people that know reach out to our office, but a lot of people don't know that our office exists, and they don't even know that they can request accommodations. We get a lot of phone calls from older individuals that are looking for help, especially like with issues that are related to accessing buildings, elevators and escalators that are down. That's a big call that we get, or issues that they might be having in their home. Maybe a person has had a stroke and now they don't know how they can get a ramp, built to their house. And again, we field a lot of questions and phone calls that might really not pertain to what we do. And so one of the things that we do try to do is connect them with the right resources. And so our office, we have started a resource directory. It's internal, but at least we want to be able to not turn away a person in giving them information. One of the mayor's big initiatives has been no wrong door. And so if a person is coming to us having a question or an issue related to their disability, we want to be able to at least try to answer that question or connect them with the right service.
Now, you said there's a large disabled population in Miami-Dade County. Is that because we're big, or is Miami like a magnet for people with disabilities?
It's both. On average, if you look at the sort of the national percentage, it's about 10%.
Oh, really?
In Miami-Dade, it's a little bit higher, maybe closer to around 13%. Again, we have a warmer climate. So a lot of people a lot of the older population relocates here. But again, we're also, in a very large metropolitan area, or part of a megalopolis, I guess you could say. And so we have the healthcare facilities, the trauma centers, the rehabilitation centers that serve people that have newly acquired injuries. Um, and so we just have a higher rate of the disabled population down here.
Now, in terms of outreach, it's working because I found out about you, I think, through an online newsletter about the resource fair coming up in September.
Yes.
Tell me about that, please.
So on September 6th of this year, 2025, we are going to be hosting the 2025 Disability Resource Fair. This is the third year that we are hosting the event. I have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third year that we are hosting the event, and we have found that it has grown exponentially. And so this is our way too of, once again, connecting the community with the right programs and services. We don't want to turn people away. It's our way of being able to network and connect with all the agencies that are out there, and also helping raise awareness that, people with disabilities have a right to accessible programs and services, and it's their right by law. And so we want to basically connect folks and meet the people that we represent. And our first year, we held it at the main library downtown. We outgrew that space.
I'm sure you did, yes.
Last year, we moved it over to Westchester Library. We outgrew that space. So this year, we're going to be holding the event at the Dade County Youth Fair Expo Center in the Fuchs Pavilion. Again, it's going to be on Saturday, September the 6th. It's going to go from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Right now, we have over 150 agencies that have registered to be a part of the event. So this is turned into the largest local resource fair for people with disabilities. There is the Abilities Expo that kind of moves around the country every year. I believe they're going to be in Fort Lauderdale in October. But the difference between that event and ours is that the Ability Expo really highlights a lot of those national corporate organizations and products that are existing out there. Our event is really trying to connect the local resources with the population. And so whether you're looking for an ABA program, for your child, or if you are looking for an insurance plan or an attorney that can assist you with financial planning and assisting with the guardianship process, home modifications, if you're looking for an accessible wheelchair accessible van. I mean, we're going to have all these kinds of services out there. We're going to have an inclusive literacy fair going on. It's going to be packed full of resources, packed full of activities. There's going to be a lot of hands-on activities. The Miami-Dade Parks Department, they are going all out at this event. And so there's going to be all kinds of hands-on activities, bocce clinic. There's going to be cornhole games. There's going to be arts activities. We're going to have a sensory playground area. We're going to have a sensory room set up. There's going to be educational sessions available to families, again, all ages. And if you are a parent of a child that has an intellectual disability, or that is a child that is on the autism spectrum, and you don't know, what to do because your child is getting older, they're a teenager, they're going to be transitioning into adulthood, within the next 5 or 6 years or tomorrow, we are going to have some educational sessions, that are there for you, that are going to answer a lot of questions.
And this is going to be free, obviously.
This is all free. And we're going to have numerous giveaways. We have gift cards to restaurants, grocery stores that all of the agencies have been contributing. So we are going to be randomly, calling people that have come in and that have registered at the table. We're going to be randomly calling people to come up and win a prize. So, there's a real high likelihood that if you attend this event, you're going to walk away with more than just a bag full of resources. You're going to go away with some kind of gift card, some kind of prize that has value that can meet a need.
That's so nice. Now, do you have to register or just show up?
You can just show up. It's good for us to know how many people we're going to have at the event. And we do have it posted on Eventbrite where people can kind of, like buy a ticket for free. That just gives us an idea, but there's no pre-registration required. We are going to ask that folks do register at a table when they come in, because again, that'll give us a good way of getting in touch with you in the future. That is also the way that we're going to be able to put you in the raffle to win any of the prizes. And we don't spam folks. We don't want to spam people with a lot of information, but being able to stay connected with the disability community is very important to us.
Now, if somebody goes to Eventbrite to look you up for this event, what would they type in?
Disability Resource Fair. They should be able to find it under that.
You said it's the third year they're doing it.
This is our third year of doing this event. Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah, and the Dade County Youth Fair, it's probably the biggest venue we have in the county.
It is,
so
yes.
When we outgrow that,
I don't know what's going to happen, and we're really doing this too. We're very fortunate because this year and last year we were able to receive a small grant from the Children's Trust, which has helped support this event. It's helped meet part of the need, but it hasn't met the full need. And I know we're only going to get bigger and better next year. So we are looking for those, again, those community partners that want to partner with us, that would love to help support this event. We're not getting anything out of it. Again, our role is to make sure that county programs and services are accessible to people with disabilities. We don't sell anything, but we want to promote what is happening out there in the community. We want to connect people with disabilities with the right services. And again, just help meet the need, because we are living in desperate times right now.
Yes, we are.
And in a day when it's very easy to overlook people that have disabilities, and if you're not attuned with the needs of the community, you just don't know. You meet one person with a disability, then you've met one person with a disability. And so having as many resources in one place, like a one-stop shop, is our attempt to try to connect people with those services so that they're not having to go to the, let's just say, like the Autism Resource Fair, or the Spinal Cord Injury Resource Fair, or the ABA. Again, those are all important and they're very targeted. We're trying to bring everybody together under one roof. And because even though you might go to one particular resource fair, there might be something that you don't even realize that you need, or for another family member. And so again, we're trying to bring that all together in one place.
Great. Something I realized by doing this podcast is that, first of all, there's many disabilities out there. There's also a lot of crossover. Like my autistic daughter, and let's say a kid who's got Down syndrome, or a kid with ALS, there's a lot of crossover in the services. So yes, it's very important to have them all under one roof.
And also remember too, you have family members. You have grandparents that might benefit from some of these services. You might have a neighbor that has that knows somebody, or one of their family members that is struggling with a particular situation because maybe they have a newly acquired disability. And so again, this is that place. It's that one-stop shop to try to find as many services as possible.
Okay, so I just got the 2-minute warning.
All right.
I want to tell the audience out there listening, first of all, they want to get a hold of you. All of your information is going to be in the show notes. So it's all their phone numbers and websites, all that good stuff. So let's do 5 rapid fire questions. What's the number one mistake families make when asking for accommodations?
I believe that the number one mistake it would be that sometimes they assume to know always what their family member needs, rather than the family member advocating for themselves.
Or asking an expert like you, hey, I've got this problem. What would be the accommodation? Yeah, okay. Question number 2. What one county service you wish more people with disabilities actually used?
Ooh, that one is a really tough question. That one I really have to think about. I would say maybe actually getting onto the county's website, Miami-Dade.gov, and browsing through whatever program or service that they need. Every single ADA coordinator can be found on the county website, and so that if they need to request an accommodation for county program or service, they can access their information there.
Now, the county website, it's a big website. So if I go there and I want to find the ADA office, how do I search that?
I would say the easiest way to do that, because not all when you land on a particular department's page, they're not all the same.
Hmm.
But if you scroll down to the very bottom, you will see where it will say ADA notice.
Oh, good. Okay.
It'll have an ADA notice there, and there is a link that will take the individual to our page, which then there we actually have a link that'll go to all the county department. We have a list of all the ADA coordinators for every county department.
That's great. Okay. Question number 3. If you had a billboard in Miami, what message about accessibility would you put on it?
Striving to make Miami-Dade County a more accessible and inclusive community.
Yeah, I say as an autism dad who's lived in Miami all his life, we really are like honestly working in that direction. It's not lip service; it's really being done.
We're striving. We're not there. I wouldn't say that we're there yet.
We'll never be there.
We'll never be there, but we are definitely striving.
Yes.
And again, within our network of other municipalities and agencies, there is a good heart effort there to
There is
make
good
it.
faith.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Question number 4. What's the fastest win a family can get from your office if they reach out today?
We can provide them with an ADA guide that provides information about the ADA, and it also has a link to all the Miami-Dade County ADA coordinators and liaisons. We've also included all the municipalities within Miami-Dade County, all of their ADA coordinators, and we've also included some of Broward County's information in there as well.
Okay.
It basically lays out what the ADA is, how it's applied.
So I take it that Dade County and Broward are collaborating then.
We collaborate a little bit with Broward County, but again, we get a lot of folks that live in Broward County that they're not getting the answers, and so we try to connect them with the folks. We don't want to turn anybody away, no matter where they're calling from, whether it's in the state, in the county, anywhere.
That's great. Okay. Last question. One word that describes the future you want for Miami's disability community.
Inclusive.
Inclusive. Yes, and we're working towards that. Well, let's turn to the camera. This has been the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers with Jody Cox from the county